So you have had every test done. Your doctor says everything looks fine. However, you still cannot think clearly. You cannot remember things. Where did I put those keys? And you feel like you are running on empty. Does any of this sound familiar? So, this is a common complaint that I hear from women quite often during our discovery call. So, I want you to know this is not just you, you're not alone in this. So, if that is you, today I want to teach you about two things that our standard panel almost certainly miss: cortisol and ferritin. So, these are two of the most common and often overlooked drivers of brain fog in midlife women. And they are exactly the kind of thing that a normal CBC and thyroid panel are not going to catch. I'm Dr. Stasha-Gae Roberts, nurse practitioner, veteran, BHRT certified, and the founder of Compassion Primary Care. So, in another video on this channel, I walked us through how hormones and thyroid can drive midlife brain fog. This video is going to cover some other things that can contribute to brain fog. So cortisol as well as ferritin are not things your standard panel are designed to find. And so a reminder here, you are not imagining this and you are not failing because you cannot push through anymore. And you do not have to prove that you are struggling to be heard and taken seriously here. So again, here's what we're covering. First, we're going to talk about cortisol and how it creates this wired but tired panel and why a single morning blood draw is not going to catch that. Second, why ferritin is the story most labs never check and why a normal CBC, including hemoglobin, hematocrit, red blood cells, is not the same as healthy iron stores. And third, briefly, the two other drivers worth knowing about, even though I'm not going to really teach them in depth today. So let me share with you what is actually happening. So many of us know cortisol as a stress hormone, but it's not just that. It is one of your most important brain hormones. And so, in a healthy rhythm, cortisol is going to be highest in the morning so you can wake up and actually function and do all the things you need to do. And it should gradually decline throughout the day to where it's at its lowest at night so you can rest as well as your brain can rest. However, surprise, surprise, in midlife under chronic stress, that rhythm flips. Cortisol can stay elevated when it should be low. It surges when it should be quiet. It can rise too early in the morning before your body is ready. And so these scenarios are what create the wired but tired pattern. So, is this you, ladies? Have you experienced waking up maybe at 11 o'clock at night out of bed, or maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and you cannot go back to sleep? Maybe you wake up feeling your heart racing, feeling like you can't breathe. Unfortunately, cortisol can be a contributing factor. And so, as a result of this, you are waking up exhausted, you cannot fully relax, and sleep is often interrupted. And as a result, recovery suffers. And by afternoon, evening, your brain is depleted, you're tired, and you just want to go to sleep and hope that you can sleep, right? So, a 2022 study in Scientific Reports linked altered cortisol patterns directly to fatigue, mental distress, and reduced quality of life. So, again, this is not just in your head. And as I stated, a standard morning blood draw is not going to catch this. So you need something that looks at the patterns, the changes in your cortisol. So that's either going to be a salivary panel or something can be ordered through dried urine. And that is the first test most women, they never get it. Some people never even heard about it. So this is a standard panel that I order in my patients, and usually I'm ordering it through a 4-point cortisol saliva test to assess where this patient's cortisol level is so I can treat her appropriately. So now I want to talk to you about ferritin, because this is another marker that is often missed in most women, and they're told that their iron is fine. So what exactly is ferritin? Ferritin is actually your stored iron. It's actually stored in your liver. So it's not what's out in circulation. And again, a standard panel is going to check your hemoglobin and hematocrit. That's what your CBC, one of the things your CBC measures. Those measure the iron actively working in your red blood cells. Again, ferritin is kind of like those backup reserves. So I can wish I could tell you, I don't see this issue often in practice, but I have seen so many women that come to me with normal red blood cell hemoglobin and hematocrit, and I check their iron panel, which includes a ferritin, and their ferritin is either suboptimal or depleted. And again, how can I fully help this lady to feel and get better if I am not addressing this low ferritin? So this is important, and this is something that is often seen and often missed, and it can be fixed. Again, so in real life, a woman can have a completely normal hemoglobin and still have low ferritin. She does not have to have a diagnosis of anemia, where we're looking at her red blood cell hemoglobin and hematocrit to have a low ferritin. And again, it means her iron stores are empty. Iron is essential for energy production. It's needed for making our neurotransmitters. Also, it's needed for getting oxygen to your brain. So, when our ferritin is low, we feel fatigue, we can have brain fog, and these things can show up way before you have a symptom or a sign of anemia. Ferritin is not part of the standard panel, and it has to be ordered specifically. And so, if you've gone and had all these labs and one of those labs does not include ferritin, you actually do not know what your iron status is. You only know that at this point in time, you do not have anemia. And that is not the same thing. So, again, the other two drivers I want you to know about, even though I'm not teaching them in depth today, include low grade inflammation. And this is a real and growing area of brain fog research. So, a 2024 paper in Neurochemistry International described how persistent inflammation can contribute to things such as fatigue, slow processing, and brain fog. And they often happen without any diagnosed disease behind it. Again, it's not showing up in your standard lab panels like your CBC or CMP. It has to be looked for, and markers that I usually use to assess this can include CRP, homocysteine, and even a fasting insulin level. Nutrient depletion is another one, and this is unfortunately everywhere in midlife. Vitamin D is a big one, B12, magnesium, and your omega 3s. And often what I see is conventional ranges call them normal long before they reach the level your brain actually needs. So here's the thing, most women who are experiencing these symptoms are often not deficient in one thing. They are running below optimal in 3 or 4 things at the same time. So here is what I want to leave you with. So if you are watching this at 3 o'clock in the morning because you just woke up in a sweat, or you just woke up all of a sudden, you feel short of breath, you feel maybe a little bit sweaty, and you're trying to figure out what is going on, this video is for you. Are you tired of feeling exhausted? Are you tired of going to doctors and coming back with no answers? You deserve to feel heard and to be heard. So, when everything looks fine on paper and you still feel awful, the problem is almost never that there is nothing wrong. Many times, unfortunately, the problem is that the right things were never tested and the right questions were never asked. Standard labs are designed to rule out disease. They are not designed to find out why a midlife woman cannot think clearly anymore. And that is a different question. And it definitely deserves a different evaluation. So your body is not betraying you, it's trying to tell you the truth. So if you are foggy, forgetful, exhausted, and you've been told everything looks fine when you know it does not feel fine, I would love for you to book a free, no pressure discovery call. So my signature Finally Answered program is a 3-month root cause investigation, and it's built for women who are done leaving appointments without answers. Again, the discovery call is free, and it's an opportunity to have real conversations without a sales call or a sales pitch. And you can book your call at compassionprimarycare.com. The link is in the description. So, Compassion Primary Care actually serves women throughout the entire state of Florida through virtual care. And if you are in the Tampa Bay or Suncoast regions, I see people in person at their homes or at the Wellness Center of Ellington. I love to say this as a reminder, this is not your 20s. However, this is also not your new normal. And you do not have to prove that you are struggling to be taken seriously here. I'm Dr. Stasha-Gae Roberts. Thank you for taking the time and trusting me with your time to watch this video today. Please like, comment, share, and pass it along to a girlfriend or mother that you think, hey, they probably need to speak to her. And I love to assist my patients in nursing their journey to lasting wellness.